So it was probably like September in 2009. And at this point, I was just 6 years old. And this very day or this very period, it was my first day in primary school. So me and my older brother at the time, our mom just moved us from like another school to like a new primary school. So I was starting this new school, right? And so it was first day of school, it went pretty well. I was like reasonably, would I say, social. Wasn't the most social person in the world, but at least I was reasonably social. And obviously, as I spent more years in the primary school, I got to know a lot of the kids because at the time we lived in a small town. So yes, obviously there were a lot of people in the school. The school was like a pretty, let's say, big school. It was like a public school. A lot of people were there at the time, and I started to kind of know a lot of them, especially a lot of people in my sets, a lot of people in my age range, and all that. Knew a lot of the kids, and I went from my first year in primary school, primary one, to primary two, to primary three. So I eventually finished primary school. Then I entered secondary school. So there's junior secondary and senior secondary. I think junior secondary is like middle school and maybe whatever part of the world. If you live in another part of the world, I live in Nigeria, so our education system might be a little different from other parts of the world. Then senior secondary school is now like high school. So I started junior secondary school. So junior secondary school I should have been like I think 11, 12 years old at the time. 11, yeah, I think 11, 12, thereabouts. And it was nice. I did my first year, like at this point I pretty much knew like I was social, I was outgoing, I was, like an average kid. And I did the first year of junior secondary in our small hometown. Then in my second year, going into the second year after the first year was over, my family actually moved, like we all moved to like a new city. So that now we went from this tiny hometown to like the big city, Now the city was super, super, super big anyway, but like we went from like a small town to a city basically. So at this point, everything changed. I no longer had friends. Like all my friends I had made pretty much all my life at that point. From 6 years old to like 12 years old thereabouts. For the last 6 years, I basically left all of them behind. So I was in this new city now, new school, new setting, and I knew absolutely nobody. And the thing that made it worse is, would I say I didn't really learn how to socialize? Because when we were in primary school, like when I just came that primary one, it's like we're all children, so you don't really socialize when you're would I say when you're in primary school, because you're like, one of us was literally 6 years old, bro. We're literally 6 years old, so you don't come in and socialize, right? Like you just enter and just carry on, and everybody starts to know you. But at this point now, I was like 12, 13 years old now. I'm starting to kind of become a teenager. And even though yes, we're all still children, but at least we're not like toddlers anymore, right? Like we're not like kindergarteners anymore. So it was kind of like a turn to like have to like, would I say, socialize with people. Like you have to kind of talk to people. And I remember I was just terrible. Like I was literally bad. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to socialize. I didn't know how to mingle. So I became like the shy, quiet, introverted kid. So I literally had no friends, and I didn't really know anybody. But obviously, as you spend more time in the environment, basically go to school every day and you mingle with other kids and all that. Like eventually, you'll start to know people little by little. People will start to know you. But I became so quiet that I just couldn't talk to anybody. I just couldn't socialize with anybody. Like it was that bad. And the thing also that made it worse was also the anxiety. Because at first, in my former school, like I said, I came primary six, so it's almost like I was one of the old kids, would I say, because primary school starts from primary one. So I came to primary school, primary one. So it's like we all started the primary school together. But this was now like secondary school, and I didn't even come like the GS1, like the first year. I came the second year. So it's like the people that originally came, like most of them had already formed like their circles and all that. So I was like the new kid now. So I just felt so isolated, so lonely, and I found it extremely difficult to talk to people, socialize, mingle, mix up. I just couldn't. And this would slowly but surely start to become like my identity. This would slowly but surely start to become part of me. And the thing also is, obviously, like I'm a male, I'm a guy. So as usual, you start to have like crushes and you see girls you like and be like, oh, you know, I like this girl, whatever. Yes, we're still kids. This was like junior secondary school or middle school, whatever part of the world you're watching this in. And we're all like 12, 13, 14 years old and all that. So, but I just like, I could barely even make friends or talk to anybody. Imagine not trying to talk to girls. So all of a sudden I started to like, my identity literally started to form. That I'm the quiet, shy, introverted kid that nobody wants to be around. And the thing is, people at first will come to like check out, like come and try to mingle with me, like see what I'm all about. But when they found out I was just really quiet and timid and shy and whatever, they would just like eventually lose interest and all that. So I became the guy that nobody really talked to, nobody really, I didn't really have friends. I just kind of followed some of like the other kids around. So as they're walking, I would just kind of follow them around to like feel among and all that. But I still found it difficult to talk to people. So I started to have this deep hole in my heart because I always wanted to feel like accepted. Always wanted to feel, parts of the community. Like I wanted to feel like one of the cool kids. Because I would see some kids at the time, especially like the big boys, the quote unquote big boys. I would see these kids at the time and they were just so outgoing, they were so free, they were just like so social. That literally just became all I wanted, especially girls. Like, girls would follow, they could get pretty much any girl they wanted. They could talk to girls, they could be social, they could make girls laugh, girls would want to be around them. Those type of things. But while me, I was like the complete opposite. Couldn't make anybody laugh, could barely even hold a conversation. And when I would manage to do it, like my body would literally start to tremble, that my heart would start beating so fast that I would literally feel like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it's almost always just feel like I'm having a panic attack. So I just didn't even bother trying again for the most part. So this would go on and on and on for like my junior secondary school days. And I just the void in my soul just became bigger and bigger, and I was also like, this identity had now formed and become very strong now that I just saw myself like, oh, I'm not good enough, nobody can ever like me, I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm basically like a ghost. That's how I felt. So I remember it was now 2017, and another thing also was social media at the time. So also the cool kids at the time, they used to use social media. So they would like bring their phones to school. At the time, phones were illegal in our school. Like it was like you were not supposed to bring phones to our school at the time. Which on one hand you could say, oh, it's kind of strict. On the other hand, I think it's absolutely like good, especially now 2026. So there's AI and TikTok and all this garbage. Like I think it's now that rule needs to be like applied more. But at the time, I think since then I won't see it. Like phones you're not allowed to bring phones to school in most Nigerian secondary schools. Like they're just not allowed. If they catch you with it, they'll seize it, and you have to call like your parents to bail it out for you. We did have like social media and all that, so a lot of people like they would look cool online. So at the time it was Facebook that was really, really popular for us at the time. So they would like post their pictures and they would look so cool. And one or two times, the few times when people would smuggle their phone, they would still smuggle it and bring it to school. They're always like on the internet, they would have all these funny memes on their phone. Like they were just pretty much always on the internet. Like they were chronic online users. So they're always on the internet, always know what's going on, always know the latest trend or the latest song or the latest clothes or the latest celebrity gossip or whatever the latest thing is. And I obviously didn't have a phone at the time. At the time, I think me and my brother were sharing. My brother kind of had a phone. We didn't really have a phone. It was like we'll use our mom's phone, but our mom won't really want to give us. I basically didn't really have a phone of my own. So around 2016, I remember my dad bought this phone for himself at the time. It was LG F200S. I still remember the name. Optimum VU2. So this phone was like a square phone at the time. The phone was almost square. It was like a very, very unique phone. But my dad basically bought this phone, and I remember he bought it and he didn't really like start using it. It's like he just bought it and maybe kept it to charge or whatever. So I remember I went to his room that day. That day we went back to our small hometown to like visit our uncle that was still there at the time. So I remember he bought the phone when he was in the hometown. The other I bought it there when he was in the hometown, or he bought it before I moved there. But I remember I went to like his room where he was staying at, and I saw the phone, and I just admired it. Like, wow, I really love this phone. Imagine if this phone could be my own. And I remember then I now went to ask my dad, like, oh, I really like the phone. Can he give me? And miraculously, he actually gave me the phone. Like, he said, yeah, you can take it. And oh my god, for the first time in my life, I now had my own smartphone. So I was really, really happy. I was really like, on top of the world. Like, finally, I have my phone. Oh, I can play all the games I want to play, and I can like join all the social media platforms and do this and do that. Like, it felt really fly at the time. So at the time, it was Facebook that was like the most popular platform for us in school at the time. So people would like snap their pictures and post it there. And that was basically what I did as well. Since I had to post my stuff online, I didn't feel as shy and as awkward as I used to feel when I was like in school and all that. Probably because it's online and all that. So I started to post my own pictures. Another thing I'll say is like internet. So internet connection at the time was very, very scanty, and it was hard to come by. At least for like if you were like 12 or 13 years old at the time. So internet, technology had not been super developed the way it is now. That's basically pretty much everybody has access to internet at this point. By that time, it was only my dad's phone. My parents had internet access on like their SIM card, their phone. So if we wanted to connect to the internet, we have to like one hotspot from their phone and connect. Because at the time, also we were too broke to buy like internet for ourselves, because we were like, when you're in junior secondary school, like you're not seeing money from anywhere. The only money they will give you is money to like buy like snacks or enter transport or whatever. So if you want internet, you have to save, and obviously I was not very good at saving at the time. So it was basically I didn't have any money to buy internet. So most of the time it was like my dad's, who would just take my dad's phone when he's not looking on his hotspot. I would tell him the good old lie, oh, I want to do homework. Then so maybe we'll actually do the homework. Then once we're done with doing homework, we'll now use the internet access and go to explore the web. But at the time, Facebook rolled out this like updates, this like free mode thing. So basically, it's like when if you didn't have data, like you didn't have like an active internet access, if you just turn on your mobile data, and if you were using some certain network providers in Nigeria, like they will allow it to like you can use free mode. So it's like basically you can use Facebook Lite, especially I think it was Facebook Lite or like Facebook website, but especially Facebook Lite. Like they came out with this Lite app, like a smaller version of the main Facebook app. But the thing is, in this free mode, you won't be able to use like see pictures or videos. Obviously, videos is completely out of the like stuff. But you won't be able to see pictures anyway. So if you want to see pictures, you have to like actually get like an actual data plan, like an actual internet connection. But you'll be able to read text and see your feed and whatever. So you'll just be able to read text but no pictures. But at the time I was able to game the system, because it was just like a new feature. So there were still a lot of bugs. So it's like if you click on one picture and you won't be able to see the picture, but like you only be able to see the person's profile photo, but you won't be able to see any other picture on the person's like account on your feed or whatever. But if you click on that person's profile picture and you swipe to like the next picture, your next picture will actually show load up as well. Or if you go to the person's like feed, sometimes there will be like some bugs or some glitches. So if you can just find like just one picture that shows that's like a glitch, once you click it, once you swipe to like left, you'll basically be able to see every other thing. Those were really good times, man. I won't lie, those were really good times at the time. So I started using Facebook at the time, from basically having no phone and not being on social media. I started to become like a heavy Facebook user, and I was so like I said, I was so shy and all that I didn't really have friends to chat with. I didn't really have. I mean, when the opportunity presents itself to chat to somebody, I was just so bad at texting and chatting that it will never really amount to anything. Even till today, so I'm still pretty shit at texting. But I remember. Now this probably would have been like a few months later after using my phone, and I was scrolling on Facebook one day, and I remember I just got this thought or this urge. I think it was just more out of like curiosity, that if I type something like I think whether sexy girls or something of that nature, like what would come up. So at this time, at this point in my life, I'd never really had seen anything like that. So I remember I typed in the sexy girls or whether naked girls or whatever random thing, but something of that nature. I typed it in the Facebook search bar, and it came up with like different pages and accounts and all that. So I used my glitch skill again, that once one picture shows You click it and you swipe to the next one, the whole thing will show. And I remember this was the very, very first time that my eyes like opened. It was almost as if, like, how would I put it, my inner eyes opened, because I had never seen anything like this in my life. I'd never seen anything like this in my life.
By the way, if you're in a rut now and you're finding it difficult to get back on your feet and get back in the grind and get back to the flow of things, I've actually created a program that is going to help you do just that. If you're interested in that, if this is a problem you're facing and you actually need a solution, just click the first link in the description of this video.
So the funny thing is, these girls at the time, they were not even like naked girls. They were just wearing like maybe bikinis or really sexy clothes or whatever. But for my 13-year-old brain at the time, I'd never seen anything like women or porn related and all that, like pornographic material at the time. It was really like, it was big for me. Like, wow, oh my god. So I remember I just, explored, so I looked at a few pictures and I closed like the tabs or closed like the search and just carried on with my Facebook session. But this thing would slowly but surely start to become an habit. So before, at that time it was just like out of curiosity, like, if I just search for this thing, what's going to come up? But now it started to slowly become an habit. That's okay, I search for it today, a few days later I'll search for it again, to look at some pictures and get my mind blown, like, wow, oh my god, this is what girls look like, oh my god. I search for it again, then from just maybe a few every once and forever, so it became every few days. It started to become almost every day. It became almost every day. And at this point I had graduated from just looking at just girls wearing bikini or just girls wearing like some sexy cosplay outfit or whatever, so now these girls being naked. But when they were naked, they were like, the camera, they will either pose in such a way that their pussy and their boobs won't show, their pussy and their nipples won't show, or the camera would blur it out or something of that nature, right? But all of a sudden, this desire started to just grow bigger and bigger, and that didn't even feel like it was hitting it anymore. Like it's kind of felt like I'd seen all the pictures that there was to see, right? Like, okay, I've seen girls wearing the bikinis or wearing the sexy cosplay outfits. Okay, now they were all naked, but obviously they would like hide their pussy or whatever. And there were some pictures I would even see that their pussy would be showing or whatever. And at the time, it's really like it's blew my mind away, because I didn't really understand how the female body looked or worked at the time. Like, you can't fully believe it. I was just 13. It's like I was so innocent at the time that I didn't understand what a girl looks like. I just assumed girls looked like a boy, like, because the way boys are. But as I started to expose myself to all these things, I started to explore. At the time, it's kind of felt like, would I say, like a learning session, because like I said, I didn't really know what the female anatomy looks like. So it's like the man was saying these things, almost like the man was learning about, so this is what girls look like, so girls have boobs, so this is what it looks like. But this slowly but surely will start to just become more dirty and more lustful and more disgusting and more dark. So I remember at this point, like I said, at this point it had become like an everyday thing. Like pretty much almost every day, go to Facebook, search up for naked girls or sexy girls, look for your accounts, do the free mood glitch, scroll through the pictures, as many pictures as I can. But that didn't feel enough anymore. So I remember there was this night, I told my dad, I want to do assignments again. So I did the assignments, right? So I've forgotten the subject I did. Maybe it was like physics or whatever random assignment I was doing. So at this point I should have been like 13, 14 years old, thereabouts. So I did, my assignments. I was done doing everything, and it was now night, so it was like midnight or something. So my dad on his hotspot, because I told my dad, I want to do the assignment. So my dad on the hotspot on his phone from his room. So he was using his phone. I think he had probably slept off. Everybody was asleep. I was the only one awake. And I was using the family laptop at the time. So it was actually my mom's laptop, but pretty much all of us everybody in the house used to use the laptop, except my dad, he had his own laptop. So, but me and all my brothers, we all used to use the laptop for anything we wanted to do, whether it was like school assignments or they wanted to play games at the time, and I started to install games on it and that. Basically, I had this laptop my dad on his hotspot, so I had internet access now, and it was like midnight, unrestricted access. So I now became very curious. You know, the same thing I used to search on Facebook, you know, the sexy girls or whatever, and I used to see the bikini pictures and whatever. Like, I wonder what will happen if I search it on like Google. So I remember I searched it on Google at the time, and the results actually now became shocking. So I searched it on several different websites came out, right? So I was like, you know, what do all these websites contain? I was just so curious and going down this spiral, like this rabbit hole, that I didn't really know what I was going to find. I kind of knew, but at the same time I didn't really know. So I remember I clicked on the very first website I saw, and the website had like this black and orange theme. Sure, you already know what this is. But I clicked on it, and I remember the video that played. It was like these girls. Like it was almost, let's say, like a compilation or a montage. But basically there were some girls working out in like the gym and whatever. And while they were working out, they were getting fucked at the same time. Maybe for example they'll be doing like a pull-up or something. Then one guy will be under them, you know, as they go up and come down, they'll be like entering his dick or whatever. Like just really disgusting stuff like that. Or maybe they do like a squat, as they bend down to do the squats, one guy is behind them and he like puts his dick inside them or whatever. Just that type of bullshit. And I remember I watched it, and oh my god, for the very first time in my life I saw it like live. I saw it raw. I saw it all like, bro, so this is like basically how people have sex. Like this is what sex looks like. Oh my god, wow, this is disgusting and very exhilarating and like so dopamine. Like wow, like it was just so many things at once. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I was like, wow, where do like, is this how girls' bodies won't work? Like how does it? It was really crazy for me at the time. Like it felt like I was making discoveries, right? Like I was seeing these new things I had no idea existed. I remember I watched the video that night, and you know, I was just really like, it was crazy, right? And that was it, you know. After that I covered, you know, shut the laptop down, went to sleep, carried on with my life. But just like the Facebook stuff, this video incidents will start to become more recurring. So now I still had the phone to myself. I think the phone eventually went bad anyway. But slowly but surely also started to now figure out how to like get internet access for ourselves. So before we always used to like rely on our parents, but now started to find out that you could actually just buy. And also you could find, there was this really cheap plan the other time. You buy the internet for extremely cheap, but it's only work in the night, so it's only work like at midnight till morning. So it's not work during the day, it's only work at night. We started to use internet, like sources of internet sometimes we still use my parents' own. We didn't have like any like Wi-Fi, like just general router or Wi-Fi stuff at all at the time. So internet was pretty hard. It was hard for us to connect. This type of behavior will slowly but surely start to become more and more current. So from something that, you know, just everyone's in forever, that, you know, I'll go to Google and search sexy girls, then click on whatever websites come up. It starts to become, you know, once every few weeks. From once in forever, it starts to become once every few weeks. Then once every few days, then once every couple, maybe every 2 or 3 days. At this point, I started to pretty much turn to like every day. So every day in the night, you know, I'll excuse myself, I'll go to the toilet, search, you know, sexy girls, whatever. The websites, I'll come on, click on it, watch whatever dirty video is presented to me. It started to become like a habit. It started to become like routine. And at the time, like I said, I still felt like I was exploring, right? Like I was learning out. Whoa, I'd never seen anything like this. And I remember like one night like that. So this time I was in like the sitting room by myself. So at this point, you know, doing the night browsing, like night internet stuff was like pretty common now, because, you know, it was like this loophole we found. So at that time in our house parlor was where there was network. The network was the best. So I remember that I was there in the parlor by myself, and, you know, on the dirty videos again, I was watching it. But the thing is that when I would just watch all these videos, I just usually just sit down and watch it like a movie. Like I would usually just play it, I just watch it like a movie. Just sit there, I just watch everything. I remember this particular day I was watching it, and this strong desire for lust came over me. And I was like, oh my god, I feel so horny or whatever. That's, just the way this guy is fucking this girl. Am I really going to post this on the internet? Yeah, am I going to post this on the internet? I'll be cooked, bro. Oh man, this is so revealing, bro. This is so embarrassing. The video I was watching, I was like, oh my god, just the way this guy is fucking this girl. Who wants to like practice it and feel the same thing. So I remember my blanket was close by at the time, so I grabbed the blanket and started to pump the blankets. And I remember there was this sudden rush of energy in my body. It almost felt like I was about to pee my pants, like I was about to take a piss, but it was so uncontrollable and so sudden, like, oh my god, what's going on in my body? And I started to really panic. Then before I knew it, there was this white stuff everywhere. I became very, very scared because I was like, what the fuck is this? And it came right out of me, right? Like, it just came out. And I just panicked. Like, I literally started to freak out. I was like, what's this? What's going on? I was so scared and so like, oh my god. At the time, I remember then I just like cleaned it, and I remember it was very sticky as well. It was sticky, white, warm. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And where did this all come from? So I remember I cleaned up everything, I cleaned up and left. But I remember that sudden rush of energy before this sticky thing came out of my body. It kind of felt good. I wasn't gonna lie. It kind of felt like kind of good, So slowly but surely, this habit, before I'll just sit down there and just watch it like a movie. But all of a sudden, when I'm watching it now, I'll try to touch myself a little bit to feel like I'm able to feel that same feeling, right? And it started to become a problem. It started to become like an everyday thing. So it just became like habits. Like, and the crazy things at the time, I didn't even see anything wrong with it. Like, it's just like, cool. Just the way you like go and watch YouTube, right? That's the exact same thing. I'll just go and watch these videos. But obviously I'll watch it in the middle of the night when I'm by myself, when nobody is there, because you can't watch that kind of thing when somebody else is there. So I remember I just watched this video, but I remember the day that I now felt like I was fucked. So at the time I started watching these videos, so when I was like 13, 14 years old there, but it became so bad that I became so addicted to watching these videos, and when I won't be able to watch the videos, I felt like that craving, basically wanting to like fuck something. And I think part of it was puberty was also taking place as well. So I was like 13, 15 years old, thereabouts, 13, 14, 15, and at that point you're experiencing puberty and your body is growing like rapidly and whatever. So your hormones are all over the place, so I'm very sure that's contributed as well. But I became so horny that I remember my dog. So I went to my dog, the female dog, of course. We have two, but I went to the female one because I'm not gay. I don't think I can pose this. It's too much. This video is just too much. This is way too much. Basically, I went to my dog and I remember I grabbed the dog. So obviously I didn't do anything, right? I didn't put anything inside anything. But I used the dog to practice. That makes sense. Which is very, very sad and disgusting to say right now. But I didn't put my dick inside the dog or anything like that. It's just I'll use the dog to almost like, will I say I rock the dog, or I would like use the dog to grind my crotch area just for like practice. This is too much. Imagine this shit being on the internet for anybody to watch. Hell no. I'll go to the female dog, and I just thank God I didn't stick my dick inside the dog or something like that. That would just be sad. I probably would have been dead myself. Not dead for some random disease, not dead for rabies. I'll basically take this dog and I'll use the dog to, like, what I say, practice. I didn't stick my dick inside it or anything like that, but I would use it to, like, rub my groin, almost like as if it was like a girl, like a real female that will bend over for me. Then, I'll grab her waist and, like, use it to, like, rub my crotch area, my dick area, just to, like, practice, to feel that same sense of dopamine. And I'll now do it till I come. I just had to do really messed up stuff like that. I remember at the time also, one of my aunts was living with us at the time. So, like, anytime she's, like, going to dress up, or anytime she's, like, taking a shower or something like that, I remember I would, like, go to her window and go and peep at her, like, just really shameful things like that. And the funny thing is, at this time I didn't still really see anything wrong with what I was doing. I didn't know the monster was slowly becoming, or had already even become. It was just like this kind of curious, funny little dirty secrets thing I had. But I remember the days it became very clear to me that I was addicted and I was fucked, that I couldn't stop myself. Like, I was in chains to this thing. So this was now 2020. From 13, 14 years old thereabouts, I started watching these very dirty videos. Now I was now like 16 years old thereabouts. So I remember it was before the pandemic, just like maybe 1 or 2 months before the pandemic hit. My grandfather, who started living with us at the time. So my uncles and aunts, they bought these tablets for him. Like, they bought this Samsung tablets, Galaxy Tab A or something like that. They basically bought it for him. Obviously, he's an old man. He was like 80 years old at the time or something. So, he doesn't know how to use all this technology stuff. So we, the grandchildren, were the ones that basically were just using it.
By the way, if you're in a rut now and you're finding it difficult to get back on your feet and get back in the grind and get back to the flow of things, I've actually created a program that is going to help you do just that. If you're interested in that, if this is a problem you're facing and you actually need a solution, just click the first link in the description of this video.
So it was like a general tablet similar to the laptop from a few years ago. So this tablet was pretty similar, like everybody just had access to it. And at this point also, internet was a little easier to come by now. Like, obviously it was still kind of hard, but that is a little more easier, a little more frequent. But I remember one day I went to the bathroom to, like, take a shit or take a piss or whatever random thing, take a bath or whatever random thing I went to do. And it was like meat beating session. And it was like, meat beating session once again, jerking off session. So I was in the toilet and I was jerking myself off as usual. And there was no video, like, there was literally no internet. I didn't have access to internet. So I remember when I was doing it, and I just had this dumb idea that, why don't I record myself? I'd love to see what I look like in third person beating my meat. I don't know why that thought came about or how that thought came about, but I just thought about it and I was like, pretty good idea. So I remember I did the tablet down in an angle that it could capture me in the frame, and open the camera app and press record. And I basically recorded myself beating my meat. So I remember when I was done, I went to the footage and was about to play it. Then somebody walked into the room. So I was in the bedroom, but somebody entered the room. So I just quickly deleted the video, and hopefully, I just deleted. I didn't get to watch. I just deleted it. Which, thank God I did that. So a few days after this incident, right? So I was using the tablet once again. So I think I deleted something and I was looking for, maybe mistakenly deleted something, or we're trying to find something on it. So I now discovered there was a recycle bin. I was like, oh, so there's a recycle bin. So I went to this recycle bin and I was scrolling through deleted pictures and videos right there. And I remember when I scrolled through the recycle bin and I saw that video, the video of me beating my meat. I saw it in the recycle bin and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? I thought I deleted this thing permanently. It was been in the recycle bin all this while. And few days had gone by and pretty much everybody in the house had used that tablet. So I remember I played the video and my god, I was fucking disgusted at what I saw. I couldn't even watch it for up to 5 seconds and I just permanently deleted it. Imagine watching yourself beating your Imagine watching yourself beating your meat. basically fucking trying to like practice having sex with your towel. It was just really fucked. Like I just like, oh my god, this was probably has to be the worst video I've ever watched in my life. The worst 3 to 5 seconds I've ever seen in my life. However long I watched the video for. And after I deleted this video finally, this was when I now realized like, bro, I'm really fucked. Like I am down bad, like I'm fucked, like I'm addicted to this thing, like what have I become? What has gotten into me? Like this is like this is crazy. This is really crazy. So after seeing that video I was like, okay, I have to stop. Like this has gone too far, this has gone way too far, I have to stop. It's no longer just, you know, this little funny curious thing when I'm like this has gone way too far. So okay, I'm done, never going to watch porn again. The very next day, the very next opportunity will present itself, and boom, watching porn again. It's in my midst. Okay, yeah, that was just this one step. Never ever going to do this time, seriously, never going to go back. Next opportunity will present itself, boom, watching porn again. Okay, fuck. I'm really like, what's wrong with me? Come on, man. Like, I'm not addicted to this. I can stop anytime I want. Next opportunity presents itself, watch porn again. And this cycle will just continue to repeat. And this was when I now realized how much this thing had me in chains. Like how chained I was to it that I didn't even realize it all these years. And now I couldn't stop. And I would try, and maybe maximum I'll go a few days back to watching porn again. So there was this period I did go like maybe an entire month, like maybe close to a month, 20 something days, or about a month thereabouts. But you know, 1 month later, do it again. So there was this 3 months period also that, you know, like I didn't go the full 3 months, but maybe it's like I'll go 1 month, then relapse like 1 or 2 days in the new month, then go another 30 days, relapse like 1 or 2 days, and like that. But basically I just couldn't stop. Like it just became this battle that I was fighting every day, every single day. Just continue to fight, and I will always lose. Inevitably, no matter how much I fight back, I will always lose. No matter how many days I try to withstand it, I will always fall right back. I think the longest time I ever went was 40 something days. I went 40 something days without beating my feet. That's how I became an addict, and I just couldn't stop. So this was 2020 at the time, and the years would go by: 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 now. And I would love to tell you that, you know, I finally turned my life around, and you know, I never watch porn again. But that was not the case. And if I say that will make you masses maybe think higher of me and all that. But no, even till this very day, I still struggle with this addiction. Till this very day, tell myself, you know, okay, we're done, never going to watch porn again. The opportunity will present itself, and hope on it. Which is sad, which is not proud of me to say. The thing is, I feel like I've kind of found the answers, but it's just like it's almost like a drug addict that continues to relapse. Like, okay, I'm done with smoking or whatever, and I go sober, I go clean, and you know, I don't smoke for a while. But one day I'll just snap and fall right back into the habits for another few days, few weeks, few months. Then I finally pick myself back up, abstain from it again. I'm not going to smoke or drink alcohol or whatever device was, you know, person trying to like quit. And fall right back, then just continue that cycle. So that's literally how it feels for me right now. That's how I literally was so down by that I almost fucked my dog, and I used to spy on my aunts. But because of porn. But because of these videos, right? Since you might call me a failure for, you know, this many years later I'm still battling with this addiction, and I guess you'll be kind of right, you know, I kind of am a failure. But at the same time, I feel like it's from these multiple failures I've kind of found answers. found a lot of answers I've been looking for, because I realized that amidst all this, as I was feeling and beating it and, falling into like a state of depression and nihilism and hopelessness, that, oh my god, what have I become? I can't stop myself. This thing has control over me and all that. I started to notice some recurring patterns, because there were some periods that, like I said, I would be so addicted and beating it every day, and there were some periods that I would just stop. I literally just stop. And I started to analyze those periods I would stop. I started to notice that there were some things I was doing that period that, made me stop. Like it's almost like cause and effects. The more I did these things, the less likely I was to beat meat, and the less I did these things, the more likely I was to beat meat. Beat meat. My food. There's some periods that, I'm super addicted. I can't stop myself every day, multiple times a day. I just wonder periods that you just basically forget about it. Like, I'll just forget about it and forget that it even exists. And I always used to wonder then, like, when time periods like that occur, I always used to study them and wonder, like, how come these periods, they feel so easy to abstain, while some other periods it just feels impossible. And I noticed some patterns. I noticed that the more I did some patterns, some habits, the less likely I was to go and indulge. While the less I did some patterns, the more likely I was to go and indulge. So if you want to find out what these things are, I already made a video talking about it, so you can just go and check that video out after this one. Just some habits and patterns that are going to help you stop beating each other. If you are addicted, if you can't stop yourself, just know that you're not alone. There are literally millions of people just like you. Millions of people, like an entire generation just like you. Once you realize that everybody is, let's say, struggling. Okay, maybe not everybody, but a lot of us are struggling. A lot of us are battling this addiction, and it's like, it's an everyday war. Like, it's something that you cannot just check. You cannot just fix and, I'm done, and just carry on with your life. Like, you have to come back and face this thing every single day. And the crazy part also is the society we even live in is not even helping, because you go on the internet and basically everything, 90% of everything on the internet is like softcore porn. Very softcore porn, right? It's like, go on TikTok and you're shaking ass, go on YouTube, you're shaking ass, go on Instagram, you're shaking ass, Facebook, you're shaking ass. And even ads, to the point, ads, you scroll through ads, you see like some girls looking sexy or whatever. Like, I think porn is also very bad because it distorts your perception of women completely. Like, you almost completely forget that they are just people just like you. Like, you become so fixated in just having sex with them, and you forget that women are also just like humans as well. They are just people. Like, they literally have a personality, they have their own ideas, they have their own philosophies, and they have their own like stuff, and a lot of them are also just shitty. Like, just like a lot of guys are not like you don't, there are very few guys that you look up to and be like, wow, that's a really high quality guy. Since in women, there are very few that you're like, wow, that's a really high quality woman. A lot of them are just like, they're just regular people. Porn will make you pedestalize them. It will make you put them on a pedestal and make you think that, oh, they're like this princess, goddess, will I say prize. Like, you just see them as like sex objects and stuff. And porn also distorts your perception of reality and bringing all these like disgusting fantasies into your brain. That, basically you see like some girl and like disgusting thoughts will just start to pop up from nowhere. Porn has fucked a lot of us up. Honestly, porn has fucked a lot of us, and it's a never ending battle. But just remember that you're not alone, and you will get through it. Okay, you would figure it out. You would find the solution to this problem. You just have to keep going and keep trying, and don't give up. And I would say you should also kind of beat yourself less about it, because it's not 100% your fault. Obviously it is your fault, but you know the people behind all these porn companies and stuff, like, they know what they're doing, and you can't even fully blame them. Honestly, it's like, it's just business. That's why I always say it is hustle. Is it the best thing for humanity? No. But does it make a fuck ton of money? Absolutely. So they're just trying to make money. They're just doing their job, but it's what costs, so you have to still try, because whether I like it or not, this porn isn't going to go away. It's only going to get worse, more addictive, more stimulating, more engaging, more real life, like with AI and virtual reality and whatever else is going to be the future holds. Like, I'm very, very sure the porn stuff is going to become so like realistic and addictive that it will be difficult. It's not just no longer just going to be through like a phone screen and you're just like get beating on it or whatever. It's going to be 10 times more addictive. So it's only going to get worse from here. But you get better. And I want you to realize that every relapse you get, every time you tell yourself, oh, I'm never going to go back to these dirty websites and watch these videos again, but you end up going back, is you're one step closer to finally quitting it forever. One step closer to finally figuring out the solution for yourself to never go back, or at least when you go back, maybe like 0.1% of the time, right? Like, you're one step closer. Because it's the person that's failed multiple times that is closer to success. And if you learn from your failures, then failing is basically still a victory. Like, losing is basically still, you still won. Even if you lost, as long as you learn from it and all that. Right? So we'll get through this. You climb out of this hole, you climb out of this addiction. And other people might see you and they might make fun of you or see this as really embarrassing, like, oh my god, you can't stop beating his meat. I think it's only people that know what it actually is like that would understand. The people that know what it actually is like would understand. But the thing I would say is, like, you should kind of figure out what causes this addiction, because a lot of the time the addiction isn't just there for there being there sake. Like, there's a deeper reason. It's almost like the addiction is more like a symptom for the real reason. And in my own case, I noticed that one of the reasons was this feeling of nobody could ever like me, right? That identity that formed when I was much younger, that I'm this quiet, shy, introverted kid that nobody's ever going to like or want to relate to. No girl is ever going to see me as attractive or want to be with me or whatever. So my primal brain will now sit the next place to seek this, like, this source of validation, this source of like connection and intimacy from people. So there's usually a deeper reason, so you just have to dig deep and find out what that deeper reason is. If anybody makes fun of you, if anybody sees you and anybody listens to the story and is really like, oh my god, this is so cringe, like, this is what it is. It's just, it's what this addiction has done to us. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to figure it out and just stick to the paths and continue to try again and learn from your failures. Eventually it will all go away. And by the way, one of the things that is going to help you stop your porn addiction is actually being busy. You have to lock in. Like, when you're locked in, when you have something you're doing, when you have a goal you're working towards, it's a lot easier to stay away from porn than when you're just sitting around and doing absolutely nothing. And that's why I created a roadmap for you to get out of your ruts. If you're in a rut, it's always easy when you're in a rut and you're in like a downward state to like fall into porn and addiction and all that. So if you're in a rut, if you're going through like let's say depression or whatever, if you are physically down in the gutters feeling like shit, and you can't seem to pick yourself up and get back to the grind and all that, I've created a program that is going to help you do just that. In the program I went over everything I know, broke down what the rut is and how to get out, and tactics and things that are going to help you to get back on your feet and get back to the grind. So if that's something you're interested in, just click the first link in the description of this video. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you the next one.